Ooh.
This is so comfy.
Yeah.
How fun. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Siblings in Crime. I'm Allie Rossell.
And I'm Blake Murphy.
And just as it sounds, we're siblings who love true crime.
Yes, love it.
Love it. We are very much facing each other now, I realize, with the mics like this.
Yeah, pretty cool.
If you are watching, you'd probably notice that we are in very comfy chairs now.
Yeah. And have blankets.
We're super cozy.
It's raining outside. It feels nice.
This is the dream. We're all cozied up. I have been so sick, so I'm sorry that this is coming out late. Blake's been a trooper. I just didn't want to work on anything. So that is why we're a day late, and if I sound gross, I am super sorry. But we're back.
We're back,
and that's
baby.
What matters most.
Yep.
As always, before we get into our case, if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, do all the things. Our goal is 250 by the end of the year.
Yep.
And it's been fun. I think we've had pretty good, steady growth, hopefully.
Yeah.
We're almost at 1 year. January 1st is going to be our 1 year mark of Siblings in Crime.
Pretty crazy.
It's coming up. Really cool. So, as a caveat, from here on out, I'm always going to say, this story is built from the most reliable facts available with some elements slightly dramatized to enhance the flow of the storytelling. But
hey, Mr. Ballin.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
I took it out of his book because people come at us all the time, and I'm like, listen, go read the sources. These are the facts. But I don't care. This story has almost everything in it. It's a lot. It's like a 4-mini docuseries in one podcast. But journalist Ronan Farrow, he actually made a whole series called Not a Very Good Murder, which we got a lot of our information from.
Kind of spooky sounding.
Yeah. So if you are more curious about this case today, that is a great source to go to hear all the ins and outs of all the details, as he actually is a journalist and did a whole series on it. So there's a lot more we could go into. We're giving the superficial, surface level information. Make sense? Brother?
Oh, yes, thought you were talking to them.
Everyone above.
Yeah.
All right, well, that being said, let's get into it. Paradise Valley has its share of wealthy families, but few were as recognized as Cece Doane and her husband Jim. They were polished, connected, and deeply established in Arizona's high society. But behind the charity events and the glamorous parties was a marriage unraveling in slow motion. A missing dog, a violent home invasion, a suspicious fire, and eventually accusations that stretched far beyond one household. This story has it all somehow. And today we're pulling back the curtain on a story that began with luxury and ended with something far darker. This is the story of Cece Doane. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's roll.
You said it was Arizona?
Arizona.
Wow.
This is our home grounds.
Paris Valley?
Paradise Valley.
Oh, Paradise Valley. I heard Paris.
Oh, Paradise. It's got to be my
Nice.
sickness.
TV.
I blame that
Yeah.
reason.
I have a lot of friends that like to work in PV a lot.
That work over there? I imagine. I was actually going to ask you if
wish
you
I
know Paradise Valley very well.
Oh, yeah? Not really, but kind of.
I don't think I've ever been over there. I don't even know what the vibes are. I was like, well, like older Scottsdale is what I imagine it.
I don't know. Richer Scottsdale?
Richer Scottsdale? Dang, very rich.
Yeah.
Scottsdale's pretty
I don't
well
know.
off.
But, like, the other day, I had to drop something off at a house in PV. And I just parked on this gravel strip that I saw.
Uh-huh.
Because I was waiting for the guy to get there. And, excuse me, this lady, like 50 or something, pulls up.
This girl, 50 years old.
Pulls up next to me, and she's, like, in a Rolls Royce. And I was like, hey, how you doing? She's like, you're parked on my gravel. And I was like, oh, okay, where should I park? She's like, just not here. I'm like, okay. And she's like, yep. And I'm like, nice car. She's like, just drove off.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
And I guess that house is like the most expensive house that's been sold in Arizona.
No
It's
way.
a record.
Do you know how much it's worth?
I don't remember.
I'd be curious. Maybe it's CC.
Cappy told me that. And then I went and parked up somewhere else. 2 minutes later, some guy came out and was like, hey, you can't park here. I was like, why not? And he's like, you're going to get hit. And I was like, that's okay. I'll take the risk. He's like, all right, whatever. And he drove off.
Wow,
like,
they're serious about their parking.
I know. I was like, the roads are so tiny because it's like on the side of a mountain. And I'm like, I have nowhere else to park. I'm just waiting for a guy.
That
But,
stinks. That's
yeah.
funny. So you've had not a great start with your encounters with Paradise Valley.
It's cool.
But that's funny. It's funny you say that because we're going to get into Cece. She also drives a Rolls Royce.
Nice.
I think
Maybe this is Cece.
Yeah, maybe it's Cece. I don't.
Cece's sister.
Cece's sister. I think she has more than one, in fact. So I'm sure you see a lot of those around there.
Mm-hmm.
But before all the drama that we're going to dive in today, let's talk about Cece and her husband, Jim. They were the type of people that everyone recognized in Paradise Valley. I guess they're super well known in the area because they were at like charity events often. They went to a lot of events, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Celia Margaret Doane, who is Cece, was never just an Arizona socialite. She grew up in a world where beauty and presentation were like opportunity.
Yeah. What year is this?
We're gonna be in the 1990s.
1990s.
Yeah. But, I mean, just 20 years prior, so in the 1970s, she was actually Miss Arizona.
Live and in color from the Miami Beach Auditorium, the Miss USA Beauty Pageant.
Wow, in 1970?
In the 1970s. I think it was 1971.
Wow.
I couldn't find her. Okay, that's one thing that's going to be frustrating about this case is if you usually are watching, we're not going to have a lot of media from this case. There's not going to be a lot of photos. And I know. I hate when I don't have photos and videos and stuff. It's not as fun. Like, being Miss Arizona, it, like, kind of lifted her into the influential circle. Like, she was dating, like, the politicians and the business guys and the very wealthy, well-known men around the area.
Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah, so she did great. And in Ronan Farrow's reporting, the guy that we took a lot of this information from, he emphasizes how she operated with a sense of practiced charisma. She attended those events with all the most expensive jewelry, the Rolls Royce. She was like living the glamorous life. And so she was like raised that way as well. Before marrying Jim, she had been married to Steve Twist, who was a well-connected Arizona prosecutor, and later to Colorado attorney Chuck Leidner. Have you recognized that name?
Nope.
He once was the public defender for Ted Bundy after the Colorado arrest and escape. So,
No.
her proximity to power in both political and legal followed her everywhere. Jim, her husband, came from a different kind of high profile, but still very high profile. He was a Hollywood
Movie star.
guy. Ah, nice. Good guess. He was a
Yeah.
Hollywood guy. His family came from that. So his dad was like a Hollywood agent where he represented like well-known entertainers and such. He himself was more into like the real estate. So he was very well off doing that kind of business. So he wasn't dealing with celebrities. However, he was raised amongst the celebrities and the Hollywood lifestyle.
That's kind of way to do it. That's the way to do it. I think.
Have the cool friends, but not have to be in the public eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it kind of be fun to be famous for a little bit.
What would be your favorite part? Why do you want to be famous?
I don't know.
Just to,
not
like-
super famous.
Just to like
Feel cool.
feel cool?
Yeah.
Get invited to stuff, make
Yeah.
money?
One time I was at a soccer game with Tafa,
Oh, yeah.
the Brazil soccer goalie.
You say it so casually.
Yeah.
You know the Brazil soccer coach now.
Yeah, now coach.
Yeah, now
and
coach.
I was on the team bus with Dad, and my dad had to go somewhere, and I got off with him, and all these reporters were taking pictures, and I was like, "Whoa, this is cool."
I know.
But I was like 12, but I
That's how
felt
it was.
cool.
Me and Dad went to a Brazil soccer game in Florida, and we were with them at the hotel.
Yeah.
And so, like, we're hanging out with the team, and all these people, like, it's like a trail of, like, him taking pictures, and we're, like,
Yeah.
walking out with them.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool. But I can imagine that getting old if you're getting that all the time.
Yeah.
But, random, our dad is friends with Tafa from the Brazil soccer team.
Yeah.
But
Was.
right.
I'm just
Rip.
kidding.
Rip Dad.
Yeah.
When Cece and Jim
I
married,
was just telling Paige about that brand.
my sweatshirt,
Yeah.
Dead Dad's Club.
Yeah.
Oh, she should get one.
I know.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. And the back
Yeah.
looks like this too. But it was a gift, and I love it. So when Cece and Jim married in 1992, their worlds, like, they were neatly placed together. It was a very smooth transition because they already had, like, very similar lifestyle. They lived in a beautiful Paradise Valley home where they would create their life together. He had the relics of Hollywood. She had the shine from a former pageant queen. And together they created a household filled with, like, image and beauty. That's what they're known for. They're just stinking rich is what I'm
Yeah.
getting at.
Was it on the side of a mountain?
Probably is that Paradise Valley?
Some of it.
Probably then. This story, believe it or not, actually starts with a missing dog. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, you're not going to guess anything that goes on.
All right. Tell me when to guess, though.
Well, there's like 4 different spots where I can, like, you can guess now. But because there's 4 different things that really we're going to talk about. So it's not like one smooth flow, but you'll see what I mean by that.
Does anyone die?
We'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so buckle up.
I'll take yes then.
Okay. In December of 1993, the Doane house still looked like success from the outside. There were still marble floors, still the charity events, all the same things that were going on. But inside, they were a little stressed. Reason
House
being...
was shattered.
No.
House of Cards, I meant to say.
Oh, the House of Cards.
Yeah.
No. One day, their German Shepherd puppy, Greta, was gone.
Oh, no.
I know. This
Coyotes.
is like... you know what? That was like our problem when we were out in
Yeah.
the desert in Los
Yeah.
Angeles. Yeah, coyotes can get your dog so easily. But a German Shepherd seems more unlikely, I will say.
Puppy, though.
Yeah. It's like a big deal when dogs go missing. That's like your family.
Mhm.
I remember when one time I thought Monty went missing, our little Maltipoo. Oh my gosh. I was like panicking. I called Brett. I was like, get back from the gym right now. I need help looking for Monty. I'm looking in the pool. Like, I'm like so stressed out. Like, your mind goes to worst case scenario. And then I looked literally everywhere in the house. I decided to look under your bed again. You had a hoodie under there. I start pulling on the hoodie to look at, and here comes Monty riding it like a sled. And I was like, I've been calling you for an hour, you stupid.
He's so weird.
He's so weird. He will not come when you call his name.
Yeah,
I was
especially like he gets in like a weird depressed mood and just goes and hides and doesn't come out.
He's just a cat sometimes. I'm like, you little jerk. I was like stressed out, and anyways, I'm so glad I found him. But that causes like a lot of stress. Like, you're worried about this little dog. And so, of course, this family is already really worried. It's like their new puppy. But they're thinking there's no smashed fence, broken window, no dramatic note. Like, they weren't like, okay, something like foul play happened. Like, it's very common for dogs to just get out of a gate. Maybe they left the door open. Whatever. So they did what anyone else would do, and they put up missing dog flyers. And by the time the evening came, the house was like so silent, and that's probably so sad. They probably used the little yaps. But they were just waiting for someone to call. Maybe that they saw the flyer. And a call actually did come. On the line was a man who introduced himself as Mike Stevens. He said he had been one of their flyers, or had seen one of their flyers, and he thinks he had their dog. Yeah. So he gave them an address. They can come and pick up their dog. Why are you smiling?
Because you said Ben. He's been a flyer, but nothing. It was just funny for me.
I misspoke again.
Yeah.
This is so bad. I need to slow
But
down
you said
because
scene
I do not even. I don't even notice when I fumble my words because I don't listen to myself.
Yeah.
So I need to do better with that. Thanks for noticing.
Mm-hmm.
But so for Jim and Cece, they grab a bottle of champagne as a thank you, and they head over there. Very Jim and Cece style. Mm. The house looked unremarkable from the outside, and they walked to the door with a bottle in hand, rang the doorbell, and stepped inside. Did I say something funny again?
No, just thinking about something. Keep going.
All right, well, any idea what's going on yet?
Nope.
All right, well, here was my key to say, do you have a guess?
Oh, shite. All right, let me write it in.
Okay. I mean, you don't have to write it. Do. I haven't given you much information yet, so sorry you're going off nothing.
No worries. I'm just using my imagination.
You listen to enough true crime, you should get it.
Yeah. I was like, I'm spot on every time.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so they get to this house.
Yeah.
And Greta was there. The dog. She was on a leash, tied to a post or fixture or whatever inside the house. And so you can imagine, like, Cece's like, oh, yay, Greta. You know, dog's wagging her tail.
He, like, locks the door.
Yeah, got him. Yeah, no. So that moment, though, of, like, excitement didn't last long. Before they could reach her, men with guns appeared.
I knew it.
You did?
No, I didn't know it, but that's intense.
The shift was immediate. They're like, oh, crap. 1 second.
Ransom.
What?
They're kidnapping him for
You keep guessing everything.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, that's a closer guess. So at first they're like grateful guests, and then next they're like victims in basically an armed robbery. So there was no buildup, no realization. The guns just like shut them up right away. Commands were shouted. Cece and Jim were forced down, restrained, with their heads covered. They were taken into separate rooms, cut off from each other and from the dog that they come to get. Investigators would later document that they were bound and isolated while the men moved through the house with purpose. So the intruders weren't guessing. They knew what Cece and Jim had, and they wanted codes. 3 codes. They wanted 1 for the alarm system and 2 for the safes in the back of the house. So Phoenix News Times wrote on the story, and their article explicitly states how the robbers seemed to know that the Doanes had multiple safes, where they were located, what they stored, that the alarm system required a specific code, that the house contained extremely high value items like Cece's diamond ring and Jim's fancy watches. So basically, the robbers had cased their home and knew exactly what they wanted and where it was, which is so creepy.
Yeah, the weird thing is, you're like, here's my address. I'm going to rob you. And it's like,
Yeah.
are they going to kill him after, or are they going to...
Okay, that's like a
Or is it a
constant
rental?
question I'm going to keep bringing up because I'm like, you just let these people over to your house and like,
Yeah.
you look like a friendly guy helping them. Like, they see your face, you
Yeah.
give them your address,
Yeah.
and you're like, pull this kind of stunt. Weird.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the chaos, a shot was fired. According to reporting later, they summarized that it seemed like it was just a scare fire. They told Cece that they had shot Jim, and they told Jim that they had shot Cece, trying to like get them to break down and tell them what these codes were.
Yeah.
But Cece was like, I'm still going to try and save my jewelry. She was not about to give those codes up.
Dialed. She's like, he's already dead.
I know. It's not worth it at this point. I know, seriously. When they demanded the alarm code, she gave them a false one. And so it was a risk. She didn't have like a weapon. She didn't have any leverage. She was just like, I'm just going to save these numbers.
They're like, thanks, you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. That's what she was probably aiming for. The men relayed codes to someone who had already made their way into the Doane's house. So you have these people holding this family hostage in a random house. And then you have a different crew that's in the Doane house at the safe saying, like, what's the alarm systems?
Yeah, they're pretty organized.
I know. Very strategic team. Exactly. So when they gave the codes over, they entered it too many times. And a system triggered a silent alarm. No siren, no loud sounds.
Smart.
Just an electronic signal that sent it to... I think that's probably why Cece did it. She's like, it's going to send off to the security. They're going to go over there. However, we talked about this like silent signal before with like the Martha case. She trusted her mom's killer the second time, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And why would you want a silent alarm? I feel like the whole point is to scare them. Like, why? I'm kind of surprised. Like, wouldn't you want like a loud, like, to freak them out?
Yeah. Whoa. Your face is like...
Sorry. Shut up.
I think maybe for that reason. Like if the person's trying to turn it off and then they can get caught.
I
But
see that.
but like there's probably also a loud alarm as well, maybe.
Yeah, like for the house or something.
Yeah.
Huh.
Maybe that's a safe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, I was like, that's kind of weird. But, I mean, seemed beneficial. The robbers realized quickly that something wasn't right. Like, okay, the code's not opening, there's not an alarm, but something's off. One of them returned to Cece, pressed a gun to her head, and told her bluntly that one of them wasn't telling the truth. And in that moment, whatever resolve she had collapsed, and she's like, okay, I'll give you the right codes.
Yeah.
So at this point, she actually gave over the correct codes, and from there, things moved pretty fast. Back at the Doane house, the intruders used the codes to disarm the alarm and access the safes. They took high-value items, jewelry, watches, other valuables, later estimated to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, a specific list was included. One was, she had like a diamond ring that was 9.37 carat. And I know, I was like, I don't know how much that is. Evidently, in the 90s, that was supposed to be like, there was a fat range, but like tens of thousands of dollars to several $100,000 for that one ring, even up to $1 million, depending on the cut. I was like, that's an expensive ring. So they got a lot of things. The silent alarm did what it was supposed to do, though. It sent off that signal, and security actually made their way over there. However, this team was quick. They got out, and security didn't even see anything by the time they had already made their escape, which is such a bummer.
Yeah. It's a little security team.
Yes, evidently. Maybe because they're just so far away, Paradise Valley on a mountain. Only once the house had been quiet, I guess, like, Cece and Jim were kind of left to their own. That's why I couldn't find anything if this was like a rental or what, because evidently they were left alone long enough where Cece found Jim, they found the dog, and they booked it for the street. So what started that day as a simple missing dog problem ended up with the couple bound, separated, lied to, and robbed of like a staggering amount of money in their property. At that point, for Cece and Jim, it was like just their story, terrible and isolated. But what they didn't know is that this was like a series of events that have been going on for over a decade.
Like they've done it to different people?
This crew.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dialed crew.
Exactly.
Want to hear what I said?
Yeah, let's see what you said.
I said Mike Stevens stole the dog and is stalking the family.
Well, that's actually kind of what gets brought up. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But, like, they had to have been stalking a decent amount to know all this information about the family.
Yeah, I was more so meaning that he was stalking the Cece, but yeah, oh well.
Like, he was interested in her.
Yeah, like obsessed.
Miss
or
Arizona.
something. Yeah.
That's a good guess, actually. It didn't take long for detectives to realize that this case was not unique. Like, this was a pattern that was beginning to display itself. In fact, dozens of households have nearly been hit between 1980 and almost up until like 2000 of these same style of crimes. In like Phoenix, Paradise Valley, surrounding areas that had typically more money, obviously. So each one carrying an insane amount of precision. Like, it's funny because you think of robbery, and every time like cops are like, oh, it's a robbery, it's because there's like rummaging through drawers and things are flipped over and big TVs are stolen or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not these guys. These guys are legit. Like, they're professionals. They're in and out with the most fancy things. There's like no chaos or impulse, and they work as a team. And now, as Cece and Jim were recovering from shock of this ambush, they're like starting to realize that they are just one of many suffering. So, in one case, a widower told police that the family invaders had known his wife had died only 6 weeks earlier, and he had barely told his family, which is kind of a weird thing, but he had just not very public about his wife's death. He certainly hadn't told strangers, yet the men who broke into his house referenced her absence as if they had been following his life closely, waiting for the moment when he'd be most vulnerable. And then in another case, a victim recalled how the robbers demanded specific pieces of jewelry, not like categories and descriptions, but they would say the exact size, the type of jewels he had in the safe, things like that. Details that like weren't visible if you're just like looking through a window.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that's like the stalking thing. Obviously, you're talking about Cece, but they really, I'm like, what situation are you in that you're able to find that much information about one family? Like, unless you're inside their house regularly trying to figure things out, that's pretty intensive work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They know what they're doing.
Exactly. So they like knew like the number of safes, the contents, the alarm system, the routines. Like, there was nothing that these guys didn't know. The Doane robbery, with its dual location setup, its coordinated teams, all that stuff, they realized that these guys weren't opportunists, they weren't thrill seekers, they were just like operators, and they've been working in Arizona for quite some time. The detectives who handled the case, including this like Doane robbery, became the kind of investigators who like never could sleep. This is one thing that'd be hard to be a detective. I'm like, I could be a detective, and then you get cold cases like this, and you're like, I couldn't be a detective. I would lose my mind. I would never sleep because of it. And this is the kind of case where, like, even after you retire, people are going back to try and figure out and put these pieces together. But it was hard because it wasn't just, like, one man they were trying to catch. They were trying to catch the whole team. But in my opinion, I'm like, these guys aren't turning on each other. I feel like usually when multiple people are involved, people will turn on each other, and it seems like it'd be more likely they're able to find these guys.
Yeah.
But evidently they're loyal as heck because to this day, these robberies have not been solved.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
Well, that robbery didn't just rattle the couple. It, like, destabilized everything that was already fragile in their marriage. They were already having a rough start. This was the beginning of a downward slope. So in many ways, the robbery was not the cause of the chaos, but it was an accelerant. And so this is where the story kind of takes a little shift. Most things from here on out are allegedlys, or they are based on real sources and allegations and testimonies. However, because it has not been proven factual, a lot of these things are just standing as hearsay, I guess. So, although the robbery was an isolated event, that's one of our mini docuseries, isolated event. Since then, the couple had begun to fight more, and their marriage began to dip quickly. So evidently, they're fighting right off the bat. In one incident, Jim admitted to hitting Cece during a fight. In others, Cece was described as intoxicated and combative. So from the outside, they still look nice and polished and pretty couple. But on the inside, like, they're hating on each other. They're beating each other up. Evidently. Allegedly. By 1996, just 4 years into their marriage, the Doanes actually filed for a divorce. So they, like, got married. 2 years later, basically got robbed. 2 years after that, they're like, we want a divorce. Mm-hmm. However, instead, they thought, you know what's a good idea? Let's stay together, but let's sign a post-nuptial. I can't even say that word. Nuptial? Like a prenup, but post-nup.
Sounds good.
Post-nuptial agreement. And in this agreement, it stated that if they got divorced, then Cece doesn't get anything. If Jim died, Cece inherited everything. I feel like, I'm like, Jim, now was that smart?
Yeah.
Like, that feels like you're already talking about divorce. That leaves Cece high and dry.
Yeah.
Why is that a good idea? I don't know what really got them to actually agree to that, but they signed it. Around the same time, Cece's public image began to shift. According to reporting referenced in Ronan's series, younger residents began to refer her as the resident granny. Not like mean, but they're like, okay, the crowd is typically younger than her now. She's like getting older, getting grouchier, and so now she's the resident granny. Despite of growing tension, Cece and Jim stayed in the house, and they remained legally married. And then came the one day in October of 2000, and it was the early morning when the phone rang. It was around 4 a.m. when the fire began. It started in the garage, the same garage that once held Jim's like family archives. It had boxes of old photographs. It had like all the things from his dad, like the Hollywood mementos, just personal artifacts from the family.
Yeah.
Things that you'd keep for decades and pass off to your next generation. Okay.
Yeah.
Firefighters arrived quickly, and the rural metro units noted that smoke was curling out of the garage and that the smoke smelled of burning paper, melted plastic, and they found Cece outside. This is so funny to me. She was awake, alert at 4 a.m. She said that she was out chasing her pets and didn't know the fire had started.
Chasing pets.
That's a very odd way to say that.
Yeah.
I was like, you're out there chasing, like, your animals all got out and you're just running down the street with them, or what's going on? Like, just say you're going on a walk.
Yeah.
However, so that seems weird. So she says she was unaware the fire started. However, at the same time, Jim was actually across town. He wasn't living at the house at this time, which meant that when the fire broke out, he knew nothing about it. And instead, he heard it from Cece. She had called him that morning at dawn and had told him plainly that she had set the house on fire. Okay, she tells the cops, I don't know, I was out chasing the pets. Tells Jim, I set the house on fire, by the way. See, you're going to notice that Cece is an odd character that we've been talking about today.
Seems crazy.
She seems crazy. According to Jim, he did, like, not believe her. He's like, okay, yeah, right. She drinks kind of a lot. Maybe something's going on. That is, until Sarah. So Cece had 2 daughters from a previous relationship. One of her daughters, Sarah, called Jim and said, actually, no, this is legit. You need to come home immediately. Mom set the house on fire. And now Jim's like, oh, she's legit. And so now he's worried because all his stuff is over there.
Yeah.
So Jim gets in his car, books it across town, gets to the house, and when he gets there, firefighters are already kind of finishing up what they've done, and he goes in the garage and sees that everything is ash. I'm like,
Dang.
that would be devastating.
Yeah.
I hate
She
that.
probably did that on purpose.
Yeah,
To
what a-
like be mean to him.
I feel like that's probably manipulating, right?
I don't know.
Like, I feel like when you get rid of people's, like, family stuff, like, separating them from the family or, like, anything to detach ties, even if it's, like, pictures and memories, I feel like that's one way of control.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything about psychology, so I could be completely wrong. However, so when Jim gets there, he goes inside the house, and he's looking for Cece. First person he finds, though, is Cece's mom. And he goes over to talk to her, and he is stunned because what she tells him is, hey, Cece has started a little fire, but it's just things anyways. It's okay.
Who said
And
that?
Cece's mom.
Oh.
So I feel like we know where Cece gets this. But as Jim, he's baffled that she's so nonchalant that Cece just lit all his personal stuff on fire.
Yeah.
When he finds Cece, she's sitting on the couch, and she's unapologetic. She doesn't apologize. She doesn't explain anything. No clarity. So Jim just says he decided to just leave the situation because he was just pissed. So you know how I said that he didn't live there at the time? He actually had been out of the house for a few weeks because actually the cops had advised him to stay away for a while for his safety. That warning didn't come with a hunch. They had a real reason to think that Jim was possibly in danger living with Cece. Reason being, it came from a report filed in September of 2000, so just a month before the fire started. This is what I'm saying. Like, if I had you guess where this is going next, you would have no idea.
Yeah.
Zero idea where this is going. So a month prior, a call came to the police reporting that Cece had began asking her housekeeper for an unusual request. She's been asking her housekeeper for Viagra pills. Bet you didn't see that coming.
Nope.
According to both the Phoenix News Times and the internal police documents quoted in Farrow's reporting, Cece approached this woman, who we'll refer to as Mary because that's what the cops have her as the pseudonym. And during what felt like a normal kind of innocent conversation, she told her that Jim was having prostate issues and that they were trying to reconnect. So they were going to go to Sedona, have this like bonding experience for like a week or however long, and she needed these pills to help with that purpose. Mary's husband also was on Viagra, and so she knew how the medication worked. So she knew the dangers of it. She told Cece that Jim could not take more than one pill every 4 hours, and that multiple doses could trigger a heart attack, especially for someone who has heart issues. Around that same time period, Cece began asking more questions, not about the meds or the intimacy or marriage at all. At this time, she was asking Jim himself about Jim's estate, asking pointed questions about what happened to the money and the property and the business interest if he were to die. From Jim's perspective, I'm confused as to why he's like, this is a good idea that we stay married and I'm alone with this woman.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a combination of her asking about the pills and Mary hearing about her asking Jim about his estate that Mary felt wildly uncomfortable with giving her the medication. However, she did anyways. She gave her 8 pills wrapped up in a napkin that she could take to Sedona. Like I said from the start, a lot of this is allegation because a lot of it is what Mary said happened. And so just keep that in mind because what she said is over the next few days, Cece allegedly spoke more openly about how many pills it would take to kill Jim. And in one version recorded by police, she allegedly asked Mary to come with them to Sedona to slip extra doses into Jim's coffee. She allegedly offered Mary a house in Scottsdale in exchange.
Jeez.
I was like, that's a pretty huge reward.
Yeah.
So these allegations appear in all the reportings I've seen, which quotes directly from Mary's statements and detective notes. So at this point, Mary is panicking, and she knew the couple was having issues, but now she's seeing that this is like crossing a line. So that's when she went to police. Keep in mind, this happened the month before the fire. Mary walked into the police department and relayed everything about the pills, the Sedona trip, the house, all the stuff. According to the reports, the police took her seriously, actually, but they were stuck. Police worked with Mary to record calls and conversations and try to catch Cece talking about it, like, in the act. However, they couldn't get anything that they were able to charge. There was no recording, no physical evidence beyond Mary's testimony. The pills were gone, Jim was not injured, and Cece denied everything. So what makes the Viagra allegations even darker is that Jim himself told police that he was shocked because, yes, he does have prostate issues, and yes, they were going to go to Sedona, but he was also bothered because he's like, years earlier, he had actually undergone heart bypass surgery. And on top of that, he's already had a bad reaction to Viagra, and Cece knew that. So he's like, why would she be asking for this? So Cece seems like she has something up her sleeve.
Suspicious.
So because cops came to him with this information, that's why he was not there when the house fire broke out. He's like, maybe I will stay away from her for a little bit.
Yeah.
So the allegations involving Mary and Cece were serious, but there was no physical evidence. And so investigators reached out to a man who they thought would know better than anybody else, and that is her former husband, Chuck, the same defense lawyer that had Ted Bundy as his client. So he had defended him. He was smart. He was trained to evaluate people, and he was intimately familiar with Cece, for sure, and her temperament during their marriage. So detectives are like, if we're going to find anything on this girl, we got to go to good old Chucky.
Go to the source.
Yeah, we're going to Chuck. So what he told police, though, was like shocking. According to reports, Chuck described a marriage marked by dysfunction, as we can guess. The alcohol, the escalated chaos, kind of all the same patterns that we've seen in her and Jim's relationship.
Yeah.
In fact, it got so destructive, they had the 2 daughters together. And evidently, the 2 girls were removed from their care due to abusive environment inside their home, which is pretty sad. They were sent to a boarding school in another state, separated not only from their parents, but like the everyday chaos that they were faced to happen in this household.
Yeah.
So that just kind of shows you how toxic the environment must have been.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck told police that over time, he managed to rebuild some kind of relationship with the girls, but Cece never wanted to. In fact, there's interviews that Cece's like, yeah, I'm a bad mom. And she's just totally cool with that. I'm like, I cannot imagine being comfortable saying those words.
Yeah.
Ugh. But this is what was like the weirdest part.
She kind of like says it how it is.
She says
I
it
set
how,
the hot house on fire.
yeah,
I'm a bad mom.
And that's, so I'm like, the fact that she gets away with whatever she wants at the same time, that's probably why she's so transparent. She's like, hey, you just tell them what's going on, it's fine. She's never had to be responsible for anything. Well, this is what's really interesting, because what Chuck told investigators is that one time, well, there's two things. One time he came home to all his possessions burned. Sound familiar?
Yes.
Yes. His photos, his clothes, his personal items, sentimental values, everything was destroyed intentionally. Like, she was like, yeah, by the way, I lit all your stuff on fire. She is just something different. But on top of all this, he said that while they were still married, Cece had hired a convicted murderer, someone with a violent record, known to law enforcement, paid that guy $10,000 to kill him. Chuck.
Jeez.
Yeah.
How'd she not get in trouble?
I know. Well, this is why. Because Chuck says that he believed that Cece had taken the steps to, like, plot his murder, but he never filed a formal police report. And because of that, there's no official record. When investigators asked why he didn't file anything, very obvious thing to do, he reportedly said he just wanted the marriage to be over with. He didn't want to escalate anything. He just wanted to leave. I feel like I would be so scared. I'm like, I don't want to just leave, because what if she can still kill me?
Yeah.
He believed that Cece paid the man, but the man either backed out, he never intended to act on the agreement, or simply just took the money and dipped. So there's no evidence that the hitman ever attempted to act on this contract, and there's not much evidence as to, like, that she actually paid him and all stuff. But Chuck's account didn't prove that Cece tried to kill Chuck, or that means that she tried to kill her current husband, Jim.
Yeah.
It didn't prove that she attempted to use Viagra, and didn't attempt that she lit the garage on fire, which is funny because I'm like, she already confessed that she lit the garage on fire, but I guess not to police, so it's not an official record. But it did paint a long history of relationships that turned destructive. And the detective's still trying to decide on how seriously to take Mary's warning. Like, Chuck's story was like, okay, now we're really worried about Cece and Jim.
Yeah.
But I feel like they kind of glaze over Chuck's story. I'm like, that's a pretty big deal. She tried to hire a man to kill her husband.
Yeah.
That's like all it said. I'm like, should we not be talking about this more?
Yeah.
But like I said, nothing is
Allegedly.
predictable. Yes, and allegedly. And Chuck said that he heard this, like, he was told through a mutual friend with him and the murderer. And so he's like,
wow.
I feel, like, confident in this person is telling the truth, but, like, it's not like he had a direct relationship with the murderer. He's like, by the way, your wife tried to pay me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So for investigators, each chapter of Cece's life was almost repeating the previous one. The same instability, escalation, damage. But what made the story so difficult for police and prosecutors, and even family, was that nothing ever came with enough evidence. No hitman ever stepped forward. No record capturing her words, no confession. Allegations were serious, but nothing that could take them to court. So police sent actually a potential solicitation to commit murder and conspiracy charges to the county attorney, but without stronger evidence, like beyond Mary's account and like disputed records, prosecutors never brought a case. So they kind of tried, but it wasn't enough for anyone to take it to court.
Yeah.
What is known is that the fallout was devastating. Chuck had to rebuild his life without her. Obviously, he's reconnected with his kids, which is great. And somehow, through every crisis, every allegation, every moment that seemed to signal end with the marriage between Cece and Jim, it simply remained. All these years later, to this day, Cece and Jim are married.
Oh, dang.
Still
They don't live together, though?
live together.
Oh, they live together?
They live together.
Dang.
In Paradise Valley. To this day. They still live under the same roof. They defend each other. They still insist the worst claims against Cece were misunderstandings, exaggerations, or outright fabrications. Neither of them.
What's her name again?
Cece or Celia Doane, Doane. She's so hard to find any images. Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says neither of them believe that Cece tried to kill Jim. Cece's like, no, I don't think I did that.
Yeah.
And Jim's like, okay, me neither. So she's like, no, not with pills, not with fire. I didn't do anything. And when asked what they make of the accusations, the hitman claimed from Chuck, the estate questions, that Viagra, the police warnings, like they have been asked up front, especially by this Ronan guy. He's in their house asking them these hard questions to the two of them. Asking like, oh, what do you think about her trying to kill you with Viagra?
Yeah. He's probably like, don't say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, it didn't happen. She's like, yeah, it didn't happen. And he's like, you're gonna get me in trouble.
Yeah, and this journalist is so brave. I'd be so nervous to have these conversations.
Yeah.
But he has his whole podcast, like I said, that has these recordings of his interview with these people, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
So definitely go listen to it. But when
Definitely.
but when he's asking these questions, they give an answer that is just as strange as it is consistent. If Cece ever did try to kill Jim, they both agree that, well, she wasn't a very good murderer then.
Yeah.
And that's the weird case in life of Cece Doane.
Whoa.
It was so different than our normal cases.
Yeah.
I know. It's more like we follow the life of Cece than an individual, one singular crime. Because there's just like potential crime after crime after crime.
After crime after crime
yeah,
after crime.
Non-stop with this girl. I thought that was very fascinating. And so
How
Hannah
weird.
recommended it. And I was like, wow, that is not talked about enough. I couldn't find like anything besides like my two main sources and then like two kind of secondary. But there's not much on it. Probably because it's all allegation. But I found it wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that is our story for today. Before we go, of course, let's see. Do you want to do Ohio State first update?
Sure. Ohio State.
Tell me.
We played UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Killed them.
Crushed it.
But
Oh.
Carnell Tate sat out because has a nagging injury that he's trying to recover. And then Jeremiah Smith, I guess, has been battling an injury, but it's not something that he can re-aggravate. So he played, and then he sat out the second half because they were beating him by a lot, and he was limping the whole time. So everyone's kind of nervous about their health status. But they probably aren't going to play against Rutgers because we're going to beat them by a lot, and they're putting in a lot of the young guys. So.
And then next week is a really big game. So.
Yep. It was funny. I commented on an Indiana football post Penn State isn't even good because they barely beat Penn State.
Yeah.
And bunch of fans are like
Mad at you?
Mad at me and stuff.
You're like to stir the pot.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Jeez, these guys are crazy. They're not used to being decent, but all right. So.
All right, true crime news.
Yeah.
I think we got an update too with the last thing your last true crime news.
Not today.
I'll say a quick update.
All right, you can say it.
With the teenager found in his trunk.
Yeah.
Rumor has it that he might be getting looked into as a suspect.
Whoa.
So that's just that's the latest. We don't know anything, so he's not guilty quite yet. Innocent until proven otherwise. But I found that fascinating.
Yeah.
Freaky.
Alrighty, you ready for this one?
Give it to me.
Do
Do you feel like it's extra quiet right now?
No.
Onward.
It's like the fan. We should probably turn off the fan.
Oh well.
All right, so woman decapitates ex after marrying stepson in fatal love triangle.
Wait, pause. Woman decapitates ex, her husband, because she married her stepson?
I think.
That is sickening.
I could be wrong, though.
I mean, that's exactly what you just said.
Yeah. So, the True Crime News podcast says jurors convict former adult film star Devin Michaels in the murder and dismemberment of her ex, Jonathan, after she marries her stepson. I don't know how to say that name.
That is foul.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of a love triangle involving a father and son.
Yeah.
That's sad.
All right. Person of interest in custody after woman is set on fire on Chicago train.
Ew, scary.
Yeah. A man is in custody after allegedly dousing a woman with liquid and setting her on fire on a Chicago train. On November 17th around 9:25 p.m., a 26-year-old woman was riding a CTA Blue Line train when she and a 45-year-old man got into an argument that became physical. The man allegedly poured liquid onto the woman and set her on fire, then fled when the train stopped. Police said the woman exited the train and collapsed onto the platform. And they were helped by bystanders, or she was. The woman was no longer on fire when the firefighters arrived. Footage obtained by the outlet shows significant burns on her head. She was taken to the hospital where she remains in critical condition. The Blue Line train remained shut down until after 1:30 a.m. while police searched for alleged attacker. Chicago Alderman Brendan Riley said, I think having an intermittent police presence of train cars would deter this type of behavior. Police said a person of interest is now in custody but has not been charged. They said he might be connected to the fire set outside of the Chicago City Hall last week, and that an arson investigation is going on.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been a lot of like public transportation attacks and like just big city public transportation. All that just seems like getting scarier.
Yeah.
It was already kind of sketchy, but some weird things have been going on.
Yeah.
Can't be too careful.
Yep. Indiana man charged in fatal shooting of house cleaner who went to the wrong address.
Ugh, I saw that. That is horrible.
Yeah, an Indiana man has been arrested and charged with one count of voluntary manslaughter and after allegedly fatally shooting a house cleaner who showed up to the wrong address. November 5th at 7 a.m., Maria Flores Rios Perez, de Velasquez, 32, arrived at the home of Kurt Anderson, 62, believing she was at the correct address for a cleaning job. According to probable cause affidavit. What did I say that? Affidavit. It sounds weird when it comes out of my mouth, but Anderson was allegedly awakened by noises on the front porch and thought someone was trying to break in. Anderson said he did not announce his presence before allegedly firing his handgun through the locked front door and striking Rios Perez de Velasquez in the head.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking. And she seems so sweet. Like, I saw a picture of her and her family.
Oh, man.
Things like that is just so devastating.
Yeah.
You can't be trigger happy, that's for sure. One thing, protecting your home. It's another, like, using self-control.
Yeah.
Dang it.
This one's in Arizona. Phoenix man allegedly called 911 to say he killed his girlfriend with a chainsaw.
What the?
Yeah. A man's in custody after allegedly calling 911 and telling dispatchers he killed his girlfriend, in which authorities are calling a brutal murder. 3:40 a.m. November 7th, police respond to the 911 call from 47-year-old Jeffrey Ryle. I don't know. He allegedly told dispatchers that he killed his girlfriend. The Phoenix Police Department said in a new release November 8th. Arizona Family reports he allegedly told dispatchers that he had killed her because she was possessed. Officers arriving at the home found Jeffrey's longtime girlfriend, Paxton Wallace, 31, suffering from multiple wounds consistent with a sharp bladed instrument. The release said Wallace was pronounced dead at the scene. Police recovered a blood-soaked chainsaw from the kitchen and said the victim was unrecognizable, according to court documents obtained by Arizona Family.
That's so sad.
Jeffrey was allegedly armed with a hammer and cross. When police arrived, he was booked into the Maricopa County Jail on first-degree murder charge with a bond of $1 million. He has a criminal history, Arizona Family reports. According to the relatives, Wallace has been trying to end the relationship.
That's a bad look.
This will be generational pain that you can't sue, the victim's aunt said.
Dang, that's so sad.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's so many better ways. People leave a relationship, said that he's
Better ways to do something.
better ways to commit murder.
Yeah.
No, to leave relationships and to, like, I don't know, get your anger out. There's other ways to go about that. Go to therapy.
Yeah.
Anything else before we wrap up?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to Siblings in Crime. We'll be back next week with another one.
Yippee.
Yeah, bye.